Hi, Wayne Kronz again. If you caught my last video, I told you the best kept secret in all of public speaking, and for that matter, writing as well as authors. Now, I said that secret was to use only one visual aid per presentation. Now, what I want to do right now is prove to you that this technique works. And to prove it to you, I want to call your attention to what I call the big four in the bookstore. I don't care who you are out there as public speaker or consultant or teacher. You want to sell as many books as the four people I'm about to mention to you. All four of them use the technique I call the single visual aid method, or I've come to term using the use of theme models. Now, I brought with me today for this video four books. Now, this one happens to be The Secret by Ken Blanchard and Mark Miller. Mark Miller is the customer service director for Chick-fil-A. And then Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And everybody probably has a copy of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, or Highly Effective People. And a more recent book, a book that I really enjoy, Seth Godin. Now, Seth Godin, right now, and now a string of about 10 years, is the best-selling business writer in the world. Now, there is no equal to him in the last 10 years at selling business books. Seth Godin is number one. This happens to be just one of his many books that he's published. Stephen Covey has sold 20 million copies of this book. 20 million copies. Now, as a matter of fact, these four gentlemen that I've just mentioned, you could just about say that they are part of the 20 million club. People who have sold 20 million books. And they use this method, and I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. Robert Kiyosaki, same thing. He has several titles. At one time, he had 5 books on the New York Times bestseller list at one time. But this is Robert Kiyosaki's second book in his financial series, and he uses a method I've just described to you. And then another one, perennial writer, is Ken Blanchard. He started off years ago when he wrote the book, The 1 Minute Manager. By now, he's sold over 13 million copies of 1 Minute Manager. But he continues to write prolifically. He now has over 30 different bestsellers and around 20 million books sold in total. So my thinking is this. If you're going to study visual aids, who should you study? I'm going to suggest you study the people who are the most successful. Not some dingling in a cubicle or 2-before operator, but study the people who have rung the bell the most times. Does that make sense? Okay. If you look at Ken Blanchard, Ken Blanchard uses, and I wish I could get this in where you could see it. He uses the simple, old-fashioned, proven method of the iceberg to illustrate the skills and the character that are involved in
keep talking.
The skills and the character that are involved in delivering top quality customer service. proof that that one visual aid is effective all by itself in teaching fundamental principles of customer service. Robert Kiyosaki, in his cash flow quadrants, gives us what I call the EBSI model. This is probably one of the best visual aids ever presented, because in this, Kiyosaki goes through many different principles of managing your personal finance. He teaches it all with that simple visual aid. And then Stephen Covey has what I call the best chapter I've ever seen in teaching in a book. Is his First Things First chapter is chapter on time management, which is probably the best material ever assembled on the in the area of time management. Somewhere I got. Okay, right here is his what I call 2x2 matrix that explains the fundamental principles of time management like nobody else, and in its simplest form. So, and this is from a book that has already sold 20 million copies. If we're going to mimic anyone with the visual aids we use, we should mimic Stephen Covey. And last but not least is Seth Godin. And Seth has this little book called The Dip that teaches how to deal with when is it time to back out of a project and consider it unworthy of our time, or how to evaluate that project. And he has created this little model called The Dip. And so here again, this is one of many of Seth Godin's really good selling books. Again, if you want to mimic anything, mimic Seth Godin. As a matter of fact, I would hold this book up as the ideal way to teach any topic visually. Get a copy of this book. There are several visuals. He uses one primary visual, which is this one on the cover, but as he goes through the book, he does use other visuals, but the way he teaches with visuals in this book is exemplary. It's a method you should use. Now, stay tuned. I've got more good information about using visual aids in your own presentations, ways you can use tomorrow morning, and we'll get to those in our next video. Thank you.